Welcome back to my channel, my friends. I have a brand new product to swatch today with you. And this Hitoto watercolor set was sent to me by Paul Rubens. Once again, very, very nice. Thank you so much, Paul Rubens. And it's a new product. It's the first time I see it on the market. And it's different from usual product because it's a tubular watercolor. It's not in pans, it is in tubes. It's a student grade product. And let's see the, I'm afraid that, okay. It's Hitoto tubular watercolor paint set, watercolor paint, 24 colors of 12 milliliters. And should be protected from prolonged exposure to direct sunlight and so on. And 3 years quality guarantee period. They have a date of expiry date, and expiration date. And the manufacturer is Rubens, Paul Rubens in China. And I can't wait to start swatching it. Let's open it. It's very actually cool. I think the packaging is very different from usual. It's a bit optical. And these are the tubes. I shouldn't have turned it, but it's very cute. They are very contemporary, I find. And let's start swatching right now. For those who don't know me, I'm Elisabetta, an Italian watercolor artist with a passion for art supplies. And I love watercolor products, pigments, colors. And this is called Hitoto by Paul Rubens. Okay, let's start swatching. There was this nice leaflet in the box with the explanations both in English and Chinese. And this says that the quality of the raw materials is selected with the injections of the essence of hand pigment grinding process. Precise control of the proportion of each raw material, the color is dynamic and delicate, restore the natural charm of color. Natural smudging, the color is delicate with good coloring, strong staining and diffusion, even a natural color mixing, showing the rhythm of the watercolor spirit. High transparency, non-graying. Selected excellent pure color powder, excellent light resistance, pure color fades, bright color, good transparency. Transparent color is not easy to grade. Then you have all the pigment information, which is very good for a student grade. There is a story of the Paul Rubens brand, and there are more colors. There are 36, probably there is a larger set. With the 36, I only have 24. I think this is more than enough. And here it is the translation in other languages, French, Spanish, Russian. And I must say that Paul Rubens is a very, very I think strong. They have a good strategy with the student grade. Let's see now, because they pay more attention to beauty of color than to light fastness. In any case, when you're a beginner, you don't want to spend too much money on your colors. You want colors that give you beautiful result. Maybe you are not going to hang them in a museum for hundreds of years. So I agree with the strategy that sometimes you find some pigments that are not so light fast, but they're mostly beautiful. But I don't know because I haven't swatched this yet. I want to put a mark for transparency. They say the transparent, let's see. Okay, I have drawn some a black mark. Let's start with white. Chinese white is PW6, PW4. Paint is quite liquid. It's quite liquid, but there is no binder issue. So it's a mix of titanium and zinc white. Titanium white is more opaque. So this is quite opaque, which is a good quality for a white. You can use it both for obtaining pastel colors and for highlights. So this is white. Lemon yellow. Lemon yellow PY3, which is a classic Paul Rubens choice, Hansa yellow. Good, light, fast, classic color. When I was writing down the pigments, I realized that many of them are classic Paul Rubens pigments that they also use in their professional line, but only the best pigments they use in the professional lines, whereas, as I said here, they use some less light, fast colors. Medium yellow, PY74. It's a typical primary yellow, very useful yellow. The brush was not completely clean. Just one moment. It's a pity because this is a beautiful yellow. You see, it's warmer than the lemon yellow, of course, a typical primary yellow. Quite intense and transparent. Hansa yellow medium. Then I have a color that I have never seen in a Paul Rubens collection, and this pale rose blush. It's like a flesh tint, PY83, which is an orangey yellow, very light, fast, beautiful color. Naphtha red, PR112. Here it's not always light, fast, and titanium white. It's this peachy color, very pretty for flowers or for skin tint. I mix my own skin because I like it to be transparent. This is opaque, as you see, because it has titanium white, but it's a nice color also for sunsets. Orange, PO13, which is a beautiful orange, not very light, fast, which is, as I told you, a strategy that I completely agree with, because I think it's important that if you're a beginner, you work with beautiful colors. These are very pigmented and very beautiful, and I don't think it's very important if they are not so light, fast. It's important to know, but I don't think that when you are using a student grade, expect total light fastness. You expect good value for money. And this is a wonderful orange, I think. Now vermilion. You see that also they repeat the pigments, which is very good because it gives a certain harmony to a watercolor palette. And this is vermilion with diarylide yellow, an orange, beautiful orangey yellow that you have here and you have in other colors. Here, it's beautiful, warm red. It's very beautiful. It's a poppy red and naphtha red. Very pretty. Look at how pretty it is. Fantastic first row. Now, brilliant red. Not once binder issue. Very good technology, I would say. And it's a primary red. Very nice, of course. You don't get cadmium colors in this type of palette, because cadmium is very expensive, but this goes a long way. It's so pigmented, I can tell you. There are tons of pigment. Wow, this is fantastic. Rose Madder. This is PR146. It's another naphtha pigment, and it's a cooler red that should replace alizarin crimson. It's a replacement for alizarin crimson. Actually, no, it's a rose. It's not a alizarin crimson. It's a very nice rosy color. Beautiful, very beautiful rose. I like it a lot. Look at how pretty it is when you dilute it. This is wet, so I'm skipping this one. I'm waiting for this to dry, and I go to magenta, PR32. Honestly, it's a pigment I have never heard before. Have you heard this pigment yourself? Never seen it, but yes, it's definitely a magenta. It's very flashy. It's almost neon. Sorry, I live in a neighborhood with many private gardens, and there is always someone mowing the lawn, so someone is mowing the lawn. I'm sorry, I think that you can hear it in the background. They just started. I said to myself, this is the perfect silent day, and it's not. I'm sorry. And this is violet, but it's not dioxazine violet. It's a beautiful quinacridone violet, great pigment, and it's bluer than I expected, because usually PV19 is slightly more leaning towards red. This is quite blue with a pink aftertone, which is very nice. PB29, it's the true genuine ultramarine. Here it is. I'm so sorry for the noise in the background. It really annoys me, I'm sorry. It's a beautiful ultramarine. I'm not sure it granulates. We'll see. We'll see. Because one of the characteristics is granulation. I add some water just to see if it granulates. Phthalo blue, for me, phthalo blue is a must-have absolutely for sky, for sea. I really love phthalo blue. I use it a lot. Also in as a background for portraits. That's primary blue, basically. Wow, this is so pigmented. Look at this. It's very beautiful, transparent, clean. I like it. And then I have a question mark. Phthalo blue, the question mark was a phthalo blue. They say PG15, but I'm sure it's a mistake because it should be PB15, which is phthalo blue. So they say it's written PG15 on the leaflet, and it says, you see PG15, but I don't think it is. Then we have Blue Lake, which is a mixture of phthalo blue PB15 and phthalo green PG7. So it should be a sort of turquoise. And if it is, I am incredibly happy, because turquoise is a great, phthalo turquoise is a great color to have, both for tropical seas, but also for ice ice lakes, snow, shadow. Okay, this is not so different from a sailor blue, but it has that touch of green that makes it. It's not so turquoise, but it's a beautiful color. It's more bluish than greenish, but it's a nice color. Nice, nice, nice. Blue lake. Very nice. Then I have a cobalt blue. Cobalt is very expensive as a pigment, and in fact this is not a true cobalt color. It's PB29, exactly as ultramarine. It's ultramarine because cobalt blue is a PB28, but let's see if they have treated it in a way to look like cobalt. Cobalt, yeah, it does look more like cobalt compared to the ultramarine, and it should also be strongly granulating, characteristics that I adore of cobalt. Okay, now this is small, this is square, but they're also pigmented. Then I have a classic Paul Rubens mixer, green light. They also call it May green, and it's sailor green and Hansa yellow. A very artificial green, which is very useful actually for spring leaves. You can mix it with yellow, you can mix it with burnt sienna to tone it down. It's very useful green to have because it's very vibrant. See, there is not much difference between mass tone and dilution, but it's very useful to use, not maybe straight from the tube, but for, you know, top spring leaves when they are enlightened by the sunshine, you can use it. Then we have sap green. And this is like this, sailor green with the yellow, but yellow is PY83. Relight, very difficult to say, yellow, which is a warm orangey yellow, which makes it, you see how beautiful this sap green is. It's more organic. Oh, this is a wonderful sap green, I think. Very pretty. And then what they call viridian. It's not a viridian because viridian is PG18. This is PG7, but many brands call sailor green viridian. They look very much the same, but viridian is granulates and it's much softer. This is much more staining and not so not granulating, I would say, but they can have the same function in a palette to desaturate reds. I think that the dispersion on paper is fantastic of these colors. Really, I'm realizing that they have a wonderful, wonderful dispersion on paper. Great quality. Congratulations to this Hitoto. And now, earth tones, my favorites. Yellow ochre, PY43. Opaque, exactly as it should be. Let me see when you water it down what happens. It's a yellow ochres by Paul Rubens are always very beautiful, I find. Especially when you water them down. Beautiful. PY43, the natural pigment for yellow ochre. Now, burnt sienna. You remember I told you that, wow, this is beautiful. It's orangey. I told you that earth colors were not the best for Paul Rubens, but they're really improving lately. in their different brands, professional, post-professional and student grade. And this is really nice. It's PR101 red iron oxide and orange yellow. And I think that the result, although it's not a classic burnt sienna, I wouldn't have called it a burnt sienna, but it's beautiful. It's really wonderful. I'm using it in my demo sketch, definitely, if I'm doing one. Burnt amber. Burnt amber was never very beautiful, by Paul Rubens, but once again I have seen a great improvement, and it is beautiful. It's darker, it's PBR7, natural iron oxide. Wow, this is beautiful, and it is warm, pigmented. This is a real burnt amber, as I would expect a good burnt amber. Beautiful dispersion on paper. Beautiful burnt amber, great brown. Kudos. Now, raw amber. Okay, so this is cooler. It's cooler. It's harder. You know that with earth tones, because they're natural, they behave very differently one from the other, just because they're natural pigment made from earth. And this is beautiful. It's a cool brown. When I started painting, I wouldn't know how to use it, but now I adore it for winter landscapes. Now, Payne's Gray. It's ultramarine blue and carbon black, PBK7. Their Payne's Gray is usually quite bluish, almost an indigo. Let's see if it is the case. No, it's a true Payne's Gray. It's a beautiful, true Payne's Gray. Wow, I like this. I really like this. It's a beautiful Payne's Gray. Fantastic. Great for shadow. Beautiful Payne's Gray, also for darkening other colors. And ivory black, they call it ivory black, but it's not ivory black actually. It's carbon black, PBK7. I think that black is underrated because it's nice for darkening other colors or for obtaining organic greens mixed with yellow. I have ruined the page below. Yes, not much to say about this, except that it is not very dark. It's the perfect mixing black. It's probably very nice with yellow. And crimson. We left it. Crimson is PR170 and PV23 dioxazine violet. PR170 is an after red. After reds are used in cosmetics, cars, and they excellent in student grade because they offer beautiful tones without being too expensive, and they're not the most light fast. But as I said, you must choose a priority when you have a limiting budget. And this is very nice, cool red. So I told you this was a replacement for alizarin crimson. No, it isn't. This is a rose, definitely. And this is a replacement for alizarin crimson, which is Naftal Red PR170 with the dioxazine violet PV23. We'll let this dry and I'll see you later. Okay, I have taken some colors: ultramarine blue, violet, primary yellow, yellow ochre, sap green, burnt umber, and brilliant red. I'm not sure I'm going to use them all, let's see. I'm going to start painting. I'm not sure what will happen, but now I will speed this up and I'll see you later. Okay, so you see the impressions that I had is that the colors are very beautiful. They are not as concentrated as maybe professional range from exactly the same house of Paul Rubens. So you must be careful not to water down them too much because they are not as concentrated, but still very beautiful. And you can really play around and mix them without getting a muddy result, as you see. And I'm quite happy. I think that it's a very nice choice for a student grade because the enormous advantage of having a tube is that you really can refill them, so the value for money is extraordinary actually compared to pans. And also you can use the fresh paint when you like, just a touch of fresh paint without having a whole palette. But I personally prefer tubes, but it's unusual to see a student grade in tubes. So I think that if you're looking for a good quality student grade in tubes, you can give a try to these because the colors are really fine, really fine. Let's go to the swatches. I'm quite happy with this little sketch. As I always tell you, this is the very first time I use this paint. When you're not familiar with the paint, it's very difficult. So I always keep my sketches very, very simple the first time, like this, just to see what the behavior on paper is. And they really blend extremely well, and you can get dark colors if you want, and you can really play around, no problem of multi colors. Let me take the swatches. Okay, I have electric light, artificial light, this now because it's late afternoon, but I'm sorry, I've been very busy and I found this time slot. I hope that with an artificial light you still can see well the colors. I think you will. It's the second time I try with artificial light and it works. Okay, so it's dry. There are some spots that are not maybe completely dry, but I don't want to wait until tomorrow because tomorrow I'm traveling and I just want to publish this video. I haven't been publishing for a few days. So what can I say? These colors are really, really, really nice. They are very balanced as a color choice because you have, okay, the white is maybe not so necessary. I don't use white a lot, but I use it in highlights. I don't usually use it for mixes, and for highlights this is quite nice. It's like a gouache basically, because there is PW6, which is titanium white, so you can use it for snow, for splatters, you can use it for small highlights, and I think that it can be useful here. Same for black. I think that it completes a watercolor set because it allows you to obtain this very organic green. I haven't used them in the sketch, but I could have. Then you have a cool and a warm yellow. You have an orange, which is maybe not the most light fast in the world, but it's very beautiful. You have a complete range of red, 5 red from vermilion to magenta. They cover all your needs in red. Also red is used quite sparingly, but the rose madder is probably the one that you're going to use the most with the crimson, and they're very nice. Same with blue. You have ultramarine, which is warm blue. It's also slightly granulating, maybe not so much, but once again the granulation is more for professional ranges. And you have this cobalt blue that once dry, I'm afraid it looks too much like the ultramarine, but I really think that ultramarine is the color that you will finish first in your set, so it's good to have a similar blue. The sailor, which is a cool blue, very useful to balance the ultramarine. You have 3 greens that you have a single pigments green that you can use for mixes. The sap green is also very nice, and the green light, you can use it for spring meadows or spring leaves, and you can also mix it because the 2 pigments that you find here, they can tolerate mixing with the 3rd color. You can just add yellow or burnt sienna or red or burnt amber to mute it down. The yellow ochre is very nice. The burnt sienna is very interesting. Actually, it's like an orange, an earthy orange. Is very beautiful. I have used it in the sketch, and it's one of the colors that I like the most in this collection. The burnt amber is beautiful. The raw amber, It's really nice. The paint spraying is great. So what can I say? Colors are beautiful. The color choice is very balanced. Do not expect an extreme complete light fastness, because some colors like the natural reds or the orange are not so light fast. But if you are a beginner, don't really pay too much attention to that. It's more important that you have beautiful colors that have a nice dispersion on paper, that mix well, that give you a nice result in a short time. And I think this can be really nice. It's not chalky at all, and you can play a lot around with this. I'm not sure that I don't know how the tube dries in a pen, because I usually pour the tubes in a pen and let it dry. I haven't tried, but I'm sure that if this behaves like the professional Paul Rubens, it will behave very well, but I can't say because I haven't tried. Once the dry colors do not have an important dry shift, they behave very well, very nice, and that's it. I think that it is interesting to have a go. I put all the information and the links in the info box, and I'll see you in my next video. So if you have liked it, please give me a thumb up and subscribe to my channel if you don't want to miss my next video. Ciao ciao from Elisabetta from Italy. Ciao, and thanks a lot for having watched this. Ciao ciao.